there! I'm here with another top 10, and this is top 10 tips when planning your Walt Disney World vacation. While Walt Disney World can be an amazing trip to take, it can also be the most nerve-wracking when planning. So I created top 10 tips or tricks when planning your visit that have worked well for me, in hopes that maybe it'll work well for you. So without further ado, let's get into the top 10. My first tip is to plan in advance. What's great about Disney is that if you go online, you can plan anywhere from 6 months to a year in advance. This helps with the budgeting because you can put down a down payment and then slowly add to it so you're not spending all that money all at once. It will also help you when you are booking your fast passes and your character meals, so plan way in advance. My second tip is to check out some crowd calendars. If you are lucky enough to choose whenever you want to visit, you want to visit in their off season. So January, February, end of August, September, those are the times where you will have not as many crowds when you visit. Even if you are going during their busy season, whether it's the summer or during spring break or the holidays, the crowd calendars are great in that they will show you which parks would be the busiest on certain days, and it helps you plan out your visit best. I find I just type crowd calendars in for Disney World on Pinterest and a bunch of them will pop up, and it's really helped me when I plan my Walt Disney World trips. My third tip goes with how to not spend as much all at once. What's great about Disney is if you plan your trip in advance, you can put down a deposit online through the Walt Disney World website, and it's generally around $200. And then as your trip gets closer, every so often you can put some more money in. And it's a great way to budget out and not have all that money leave your account all at once. So it's a great way to budget. So I suggest putting a deposit down, and then it's kind of like a layaway for Disney, and you just put a little in at a time. My number 4 tip is to check the flight apps that are available. If you're like me, Disney is far away. It is not something that you can go and drop everything and go anytime you want. As much as I would love to, I live in the Midwest, and there's only certain times that I can go to Disney World, especially with a teacher schedule. So in addition to planning in advance on the Walt Disney site, also check flight apps to find your best deal, because sometimes they will have sales or deals, and you want to snatch them up as soon as you see that great deal because they can go away so quickly. And also make sure when you're doing your flights to see if you have to pay for luggage. I know Southwest is great in that you don't have to pay for your luggage if it is 2 pieces of luggage or less, and I think if they're under 50 pounds. But other airlines make you pay for your luggage, so don't forget to take that into account when you're purchasing your airline tickets. My number 5 tip is to budget for souvenirs. While a lot of times we budget for just a few souvenirs and you think you'll be okay, when you're at Disney World, you get in the Disney zone and my mind just shuts down, and I want everything they have because they make such wonderful things and you could spend a lot of money. So what I would do is I would keep off of every paycheck a little bit of money, and that would go to my souvenir fund. And for me, if I have money around the house, I am going to spend it. So I would give it to someone else to hold, or I suggest even putting it in savings, something where you're budgeting for souvenirs, because even though you think, oh, I'm just going to spend $100, you know, that's a lot of money. I'm going to just buy $100 worth of souvenirs. When you get there, you want everything. And it is very hard to have self-control at Disney World, at least for me. And so you want to budget what you really think, if you're honest with yourself, how much you will spend for souvenirs, and stick to that budget. Because especially with the Magic Band is connected to your credit card, so you can just easily swipe, and it's very easy to just keep on swiping on things you want to purchase. And then when you see your bill and it is much more than you planned, it can be a shock. So budget for souvenirs, especially since every ride you exit ends in a gift shop. My number 6 tip is to plan out how you want to purchase food. So determining whether you want to go with the Disney dining plan or if you want to just buy food as you go. For myself, I don't eat a lot when I'm at an amusement park, and so the dining plan I looked through and it just was too expensive for me. I wouldn't be getting the most out of it, and I would be compelled to want to eat more to get the best deals. So you have to determine, are you someone who is going to want to go to a lot of character dining? Are you going to want to have a sit-down breakfast, lunch, dinner? If you are, the dining plan is a great thing to use. And there are different tiers on the dining plan. So there's a quick service one where you have a couple quick service meals. There's one where you have, it's kind of your middle range, where you can get a sit-down meal or a character experience. And then there's your like deluxe range. And when you go to, say you want to do dining with the princesses in Cinderella's tower, that can be quite expensive, and the dining plan is a great way to get that experience. But you have to determine, is this going to be right for you? I went for about 6-7 days, and even though I was there for that long, I did not spend as much as I would have with the dining plan. So you have to determine what's right for you. For some people, they want that Disney food experience. And that's great, and the dining plan is awesome for that. But for me, I just buy as I go, and that has worked out very well. So determine what's best for you and budget accordingly. My number 7 tip is about character dining, and that is book well in advance for your character dining. If you want to have the experience of having a great meal and sitting and having one-on-one time with characters without having to wait in lines to meet them, character dining is for you. And character dining can be with many different characters. You can do Ohana and be with Lilo and Stitch. You can do the Crystal Palace and have Winnie the Pooh and his friends. You can dine with the princesses. There's lots of different character dining experiences, and they're a great way to get that one-on-one time with a character without having to wait in those hot long lines. However, you want to book in advance, especially if you want to do Cinderella's Royal Table. Those tickets go very quickly. So I believe if you're able to book 3 months to 6 months in advance on the character dining, whenever you're able to do that by checking on the Walt Disney World site, you want to do that day that you're allowed to. That very first day you're allowed to, because it will go quickly. And if you're not able to get it that day, check every so often, because sometimes people will cancel their reservations and you'll be able to get something. So if you want to do character dining, which is a fabulous time, that's how I got my picture with Tigger there, you want to make sure that you're planning it out and booking it well in advance. My next tip is to plan out which parks you want to visit on which days during your trip. For me, I always get the park hopper, so I could do the morning at one park and the afternoon at the other. But I like to plan out, especially if I want to see different shows or fireworks. So I will plan out which parks I want to visit, and I also look at the extra magic hours that are available. And you can look at these and see what times parks are open and closed on the Walt Disney World website and also on the My Disney Experience app. And it's a great way to plan out, and I like to plan out which parks I'm going to visit in the morning, which I'm going to visit in the afternoon, and what I'm going to see there, and it'll also help with your Fast Pass choices. My next tip goes with Fast Passes. Make your Fast Pass choices fit you. Find out what you really want to see and do, and get the fast passes that work best for you. If you're a thrill seeker and you want to get fast passes for the roller coasters, you want to get those as soon as you can. Especially with Pandora and the Flight of Passage, those fast passes can go very quickly. And if you're a resort guest, you can book your fast passes about 3 months in advance. So it's a great way to be able to know that no matter what, you're not going to have to wait in a super long line to be able to ride a very popular ride. You can also get fast passes to have better seating at shows and fireworks, and you want to get the ones that best fit what you want to do. And I suggest planning your fast passes for afternoon and evening, because if you go in the morning, generally the lines aren't as long, and it's the afternoon and evening where lines can get very long and it can be very busy. So the fast passes are a great thing to use during that time. So plan out what you want to see and what you want to do, and get fast passes that are best for you. Yeah, that rhymed. My last tip is to make a Disney bucket or must-do list. What I mean by that is to write down each park and determine what you really, really want to see and do while you're at that park. That can be something like what rides you really want to ride, what characters you really want to meet, where you would like to eat, things you would like to do at each park. That way you can hone in on what you truly want instead of getting bogged down with everything that's all around you. If you have a list to focus on of things you want to do, you're going to be able to enjoy it that much more. But on that note too, you don't want to overplan, because you might miss out on things that you wouldn't experience without that. But bucket list really helped me in really determining what I really wanted to do when I visited the most magical place on earth. Well, I hope those tips and tricks help you when you are planning your trip. If these can help just one person, then I will be so happy. If you have any tips or tricks when planning a Walt Disney World trip that I didn't mention, please put them in the comments below. I love learning new things about Walt Disney World and can't wait to see what you guys think. And I hope you enjoy your trip to Walt Disney World, because it's truly the most magical place on earth. And have a magical day. Bye!